Hey everybody, can't tell you how excited I am tonight. Welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Tonight's movie, Top Gun, right? So, as you can tell by my shirt, big fan, and I have to explain it right away. I was a fan of Top Gun, the original movie. My wife bought me this and a Goose shirt for my kids, so they would always, Maverick and Goose. Now this movie came out, and I didn't realize it. I was walking down the beach, and I had this on. The guy's like, "Oh, Top Gun Maverick." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's just Top Gun." You know what I mean? It's not about that movie. So, and truth be told, I have already seen this in the theaters, and I have my opinions on it, which I will share with you as we go throughout this movie. But I really enjoyed the first one. Tom Cruise is great. I think it's exciting that it has Miles Teller in it. I'm a big fan of Miles Teller. I, of course, wanted to be in the Naval Academy. That didn't happen. That's another story for another time. This was even before Top Gun came out. So, big fan. Very excited to watch this again. Like I said, I've seen it in the movies. I had my thoughts then, but I'm hoping watching it now, digitally, it'll be a little bit better. So stick around, we'll get into it, we'll talk a little bit more. I'll be back. Hey everybody, I want to do a quick check-in here. We're watching Top Gun Maverick. We're at the 1 hour, 12-second mark, so that's pretty cool. My favorite number is 12. A little under halfway, but I thought this was a very appropriate time to check in. So I know I'm going to be hypercritical about this film, right? And I stopped it here because one of the things that I love about this film is how they brought Val Kilmer and Iceman back, right? And hopefully that's not a spoiler alert. Everybody knows that happened, and a very good moment between the two of them and how they were able to do that because of Val Kilmer and his condition and everything like that. And it makes you think about what, remember Val Kilmer, a real genius, and Top Gun and all the stuff that he's in, So that's great. But leading up to this, I love the new generation of Top Gun fighter pilots. I love the fact that Tom Cruise or Maverick is going there to teach them nobody better than him because of their mission. Love that whole thing. The Penny piece, he comes back and he finds Jennifer Connelly, Penny. Now it's okay for me. So I'm going to let you in a little secret because maybe you don't know, but Penny's the Admiral daughter from the first one. They referenced that. And I didn't catch that the first time I was watching this. Now I know. It makes it a little bit better. But it makes you wonder what happened. The whole part of Top Gun was him and Kelly McGinnis and Charlie, if you will. What happened to that? I know maybe she can't come back. But what's the reference? What happened to that love story? They were meant to be, you thought. Anyway, so I know I'm getting hypercritical. But then the reusage of the original movie, for lack of a better word. Of course, there's the motorcycle. He's got his motorcycle, and that's iconic, so I'm not too upset about that. You can bring that back. They even show the old motorcycle, and he's flying, driving alongside an airplane or a jet. Okay, I'm okay with that. That starts off early. But then they go to the opening bar scene, right? So if you remember in Top Gun 1, they went to the opening bar scene, and in similar fashion, the guys are having a good time, and then, whatever. So there's a whole bar scene in the beginning of this Top Gun. This one's a little bit different. They combine it with the Great Balls of Fire scene. They're repeating two moments in the original into the early one. Okay, great. And then they jump into, okay, and now here's your instructor, right? That happened in the original one. They did their bar scene, where they sang, and now this is slightly different, but they cut back, and then now here's your instructor, goes by the name, instead of call sign Charlie from the original, it's call sign Maverick, So they're replicating the first movie a lot, and that which was great, and I love the first movie, but and then they even go into the whole conversation about the hard deck. They don't say they don't say the same line, you knew it, you blew it, and you cost your team, blah, 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 blah. But they talk about the hard deck again. It's like, really, you have to bring that back, and I get it, it's appropriate for the mission that they're going on, but still, I'm still liking it so far, but I feel like they're retreading some old stuff, and I'm sure that's okay for nobody who really watched the first one and is watching it for the first time, because it was that great, and why not use that stuff again? But for somebody like me, I don't know. Let me get back to it here. This is going to be a long review. Stick with me, please. All right. Hey everybody, we're at the credits. We're at the credits of Top Gun Maverick, and wouldn't you know it, right after the check-in, they go to the beach scene. If you remember in the first one, they play beach volleyball, right? And you know, it's Slider and Iceman against Goose and Maverick, and they're all sweaty. Well, not the same. They play football on the beach instead of volleyball. And then even after that, Maverick and Penny are on the bike riding together. The motorcycle, if you will. Very reminiscent of the first one. In addition to hard deck, they must have said, what was the other one that they said real quick? I wrote down, churn and burn. They say that a lot. And re-engage. But anyway, they didn't say I feel the need for speed. They didn't say you can be my wingman anytime. There are a couple of quotes that they left out of this one. So, like I said, I'm going to be very critical of this movie. But I think it's a lot better for me the second time. I did enjoy it. I liked it. And I said this after the first time I watched it. I'm not upset that they made it. It didn't disgrace or do anything like that. I just see so much commonality between the two movies that it's hard for me to ignore. And then there's, you know, some other things that, you know, you speak about, like the Penny thing I talked about. Like, if I didn't know that, now that I know it, it makes it a little bit better. You know, I still don't know what happened to Kelly McGillis and her story, Charlie, if you will. Don't know what happened there. But and there's another aspect I want to talk a little bit about. But real quick, without a spoiler alert, no, I'll save this for the spoiler piece of it. Not that I'm going to ruin the movie, but I do want to talk a little bit more. Before I get into that, I will say that I did ultimately enjoy this movie. I thought they did a great job of creating a new generation, training instead of a surprise kind of mission. You know, and they even do the ending where they show all the names of the people. Funny enough, I was thinking about it as I watched this. I was like, John Hamm. I was like, is there anything I like him in? Yeah, his character, not him. He's a great actor, but like, is there a character that I really like him? And of course, my fantasy football name, Salt Lake City Cyclone, his name in this was Cyclone. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Anyway, so in the end, I really did enjoy it a lot more than I did the first time. I'd recommend it, I think, for people who saw the first one and who saw the second one. It's worth it. It's worth it to see Val Kilmer in that moment, and it's amazing how the years have treated the two actors. I mean, Tom Cruise looks like he was back in, you know, Top Gun, whereas Val Kilmer obviously has had a little bit more struggle to him. So, and Jennifer Connelly looks great. So, check it out. Absolutely, why not? You know, who's not going to? You're probably not even watching this review. First of all, it's too long, and everybody's already seen the movie. But I want to go spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I'm not going to ruin the ending of the movie. I just want to talk about two things that happen. That first one, the very simple one, is the crew members, or whatever they're called, the guy on the grounds. If you remember the end of the first one, they're all jumping and cheering. They meet him at the airplane. Happens again in this movie, you know. And I didn't want to say that in case you didn't realize that, you know, there's going to be a successful mission. But it's the same ending. They just changed the words, even when they greet each other. That's when they say, you could be my wingman anytime. That's not what he said, you know, in this one. But it's the same thing. With that, and the other piece that I wasn't really crazy about when they switch it into Behind Enemy Lines. If you've ever seen that movie with Owen Wilson, it's like, you know, they get trapped down behind enemy lines, and that all happens. I like the idea of him coming back to saving him and that whole piece, and you know, and I like the plane, you know, the original plane that they were in. But I mean, really, you know, that they're just going to break into an Air Force base and just fly away. So it creates more dogfights, but that stuff kind of ran me off. So I know this has probably been a 15-minute review, and I apologize, but if you stayed this long, I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.